Hey, welcome back to Cobb's Q. I'm Kevin Cobb. Today we're going to do something really simple. It's very easy and it really doesn't matter what type of grill you have. You can have the big green egg, which we're going to use today. You can have the Traeger. You can have a gas grill. It really doesn't matter. We're smoking cheese and you won't be disappointed. Once you've done this the first time, you're going to continue to do it over and over and over. And if your significant other says, hey, I really want to get a smoker tube, just imagine being able to give these out as Christmas presents and presents to other people if they had a smoker tube. So it's a really good idea to give them one because once you've tried this, you're going on to make more and more and more. So let's get outside and let's get busy. Okay, to begin with, we're going to go ahead and light the pellets outside and let them go for about 10 minutes so they're really going and they begin to smoke before we put them down inside the egg. I prefer to use fruit woods when I smoke cheese. I find that the hickory and flavors like that might be a little overpowering, so I prefer the more subtle flavor of smoke on the cheese, and so has a lot of my friends that I've given it to. So absolutely use what you prefer. I just find apple seems to work really, really well when I'm smoking cheese. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and light this, and just these little benzomatics are very handy for this. And with this particular square, I find if I fill it about one full length and then about half a length, that will last for 3 hours. And I only smoke cheese for 3 hours, so that's why I don't fill the whole thing. Okay, again, we're going to let this go for about 10 minutes. You'll notice that I have a pizza pan underneath that, and that's really something I use for leave no trace cooking when I'm out camping and I want to use a Dutch oven in the field. But also here, I'm going to place this on top of the charcoal, and then I can place this on top of the pan, and I won't light the charcoal, but I'll just keep smoke inside of the egg itself. Okay, let's talk about smoking cheese if you don't have a big green egg and what other options you have, whether you have a smoker or if you simply have a gas grill. Just pick up a smoker tube, and 12-inch smoker tube is fine, and you're going to fill that full of pellets and light it just like we lit the other. If it's on a smoker of this nature, this is fine. On the far side, I'm going to put this mat, and I'm going to have cheese over here, and the distance here is fine. It'll keep the cheese cool while we smoke because it is a cold smoke situation. If you're on a gas grill and maybe you don't have that space, just put a pan in between and fill it full of ice. That will still allow the smoke to do what it needs to do. It'll keep the interior cool, and then your cheese can be placed over here, and you won't get that cheese sweat. You'll be able to keep the cheese cool enough to be able to get a nice smoke. Another thing that you can do on that gas grill is put tinfoil underneath the 12-inch tube. That way, anything that falls doesn't fall inside of your burner system on your gas grill, and you can simply move that out of the way later, and everything's kept clean underneath. Those are options you have if you don't have a setup like I'm doing with the big green egg today. Okay, we've been going for about 10 minutes now, so I'm going to go ahead and put this inside the egg. First thing is make sure that you open the lower vent, and then we're going to open the upper vent when I shut the lid. So we're going to go ahead and just take this, place it right down on top of the bed of charcoal that's already in the egg. Once that's done, then we're going to go ahead and set up our configuration. Today, we're going to use the plate setter, we're going to use the middle rack, and then we're going to use the upper rack. So let me grab that and put that in place. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Again, with the expander system, we can pick the whole thing up, bring it over at one go, and just set that inside, just like that. Once we have this on, now we're just going to take a mat, and we're going to place the cheese on top of the mat. So here's our mat. And we simply place that right up on top. I've already taken this upstairs and washed it off. So now we'll cut the cheese and then we'll place it on the mat. We'll close this lid down and we're gonna go for 3 hours. We're gonna first go for an hour and a half, then we're gonna flip the cheese, and then we're gonna go for another hour and a half, and then we'll move on from there. So first let's go ahead and shut the lid. We'll open the vent. and just let the smoke build in there as we get the cheese prepared. All right, so let's go ahead and cut up our cheese. Today we've got some pepper jack, and we've also got some 3-year aged cheddar. These will go well. I find the pepper jack is without a doubt the one that everybody really enjoys, and since I'm taking this on a scout camp out next weekend for the adults, I already know what they like. Brie has been interesting, and that's worked out well. Smoked Gouda is an excellent cheese to smoke, and cream cheese is another excellent cheese to smoke. So any of those you can go ahead and try, and if you have something else that you prefer, by all means let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear what other people are using or trying and how it worked out. When I do these cheese blocks, I'm not going to smoke the whole piece. I want as much smoke as possible, and I also want to cut them in certain chunks, such as this, so that when I'm out in the field, now I can slice them real thin and they fit onto a cracker. So these are about the size that I like to do. It also gives me more cheese, so a lot of this cheese I can give away to friends and stuff like that. The other problem I have is finding large blocks of pepper jack. Used to be able to go to Safeway or Giant and be able to find Lucerne cheese. I can't find it anymore. Thank goodness these are over at Costco, so at least at Costco I can get a large block of cheese to be able to smoke as much as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and get these cut up, and then we'll come back as we put them on. Okay, so our cheese is broken up now, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to get this onto the egg. You can see we already have a lot of nice smoke coming in here. So we already have our mat in here, and we're going to go ahead and place. You can stand them up, stand them sideways, whatever works best. Put just a little bit of space between each one to make sure the smoke is fully encompassing each block of cheese. Again, we're going to let these go for an hour and a half. I'm going to take a look at them. I may flip them, I may not. The reason I used to flip them all the time is I had these silicone mats that didn't have holes in them. These have the holes, so it's really getting full penetration completely around the cheese. So again, we're just going to shut this down. We're going to let it go for an hour and a half. We'll look, we'll come back, let it go for another hour and a half, and then we'll pull. Okay, so our 3 hours have passed. It is time to pull the cheese. It's looking really good. I set our white cheese out here beside each other. We got our pepper jacks. Save these 2 pieces for me for later. That's why we didn't use a sharp knife. Okay, got the cheese and it's ready. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and put it inside of a vacuum seal bag. And the hardest thing you're going to have to do with the cheese is put it in the fridge and leave it there for at least a week. Now, I know you're ready to dig in, but trust me, give it a week. Let that smoke set into the cheese and you'll end up with a better product. This is going out for camp out next weekend, so I know it gets a full week. I also use tongs when I put these together, and the reason I use tongs is the cheese is very susceptible to fingerprints at this point, so we'll just keep it looking good. It's also a good idea to go ahead and label them just so you know what date they were sealed on. Okay, we have one more to go. This is always the longest part, is just getting these in, letting the vacuum sealer warm up or cool down. Often when you go to seal, it'll give you the flashing red light that it's not ready, like that. So you have to wait. Try it again. As soon as it quits flashing, then you know you're good. There we go. So the last one seals. Then, like I say, we can go ahead, we can write down just the date on each one of these, and we'll throw them in the fridge for a week. And that is as hard as making smoked cheese is. And I will tell you, on a cracked black pepper Triscuit, you can't go wrong. And just in case anybody is curious, I can use regular gloves today because this is not hot. But how much of the pellets were actually used? There we go. It had just gotten into the back side, so that's 3 hours of burn. So all I'm going to do here is just going to move those along this side, set that back, let it shut down on its own, and we're good. And This is what you call spoils of war. Oh, it's horrible. You wouldn't like it. Damn, that's good. Hey, thanks again for joining us today. Like I said earlier, the hardest thing to do is actually let the cheese sit for a week. I know it's hard because you want to dive into it now, but if you do that and that smoke blends into the cheese, you will not be disappointed. So get a smoker tube, and I've given this to friends and they've used it to smoke salmon on their gas grills using the same technique we just did for cheese, and started telling me, hey man, this was the best thing I've ever done, and it's like I have a smoker now and then I can grill it. So rock on. They're being creative with the same concept we did for the cheese. So please give us a like and a subscribe. Thank you for taking time out of your day to come see what we're doing. Give this a try. I promise you, you will not be disappointed with smoked cheese. It's just fantastic. Have a great day.